What's going on, everyone? My name is BoIt and I'm back with some more Age of Titans action. Spawning in the top of the map, playing as Ra for a change, is ArmyCore. His opponent today in the red playing ISIS is Hells. The map is Marsh, so what we're going to see in this game today is a lot of hunt. That's what we're going to see. We're going to see hunt all over the map. We're going to see players getting hunting dogs and abusing that hunt a little bit differently than what we would see on maps like Oasis, where there's not quite as much hunt, so there's not going to be as quick. The game's going to be quicker than on such as Oasis because you can gather resources a little bit quicker. So things are just going to happen a little bit more smoothly and a little bit, just more smoothly. Like the timings will be more crisp and things like that. If you have the timings down pat, you should know that if the other person's playing well, that you're going to hit those timings and all that other stuff. And I think the first thing I want to say before I actually jump too far into the analysis and the commentary of this is that I'm really sorry about the limited amount of videos I've been able to get out recently. I don't really have an excuse other than I've been like super disorganized, not actually doing anything with my time, often just sitting around watching videos. I could have been doing something worthwhile. So I'm going to make it up to you guys. I'm going to start posting at least a video a day, at least until the end of January. Hopefully I can keep to that. I'm probably going to have a couple of days where I'm going to miss out on a video or two, but we'll see, and hopefully that's going to amount to more stuff on your end. I'm going to probably have a little bit of a break over Christmas just because it's Christmas and I'm going to have family in my house, and if I make noise, well, there's family sleeping nearby late at night, which is when I normally do my commentaries. It's going to be a bit awkward when they come knocking on my door telling me to shut up. But we're going to see if we can try, if we can get them to wear headphones or some shit. Like, should be right. No, I just want to make a little bit of a point into the analysis of this, that ArmyCore does it right. What you do when you're wanting to wall around your towers is you put your walls down and you actually delete each one of them, and there always is 2 walls there, so you actually save yourself 12 gold if you do that, which is going to be really nice, and it's going to help you get an extra obelisk up faster, or it's going to help you get that husbandry quicker, or that hand axe, and all that monument, all the other good stuff. Got Art of Villager here though, just trying to shoot that deer back towards the granary, which is something that's really super important. The more efficient you can be in this game, the more resources you can gather in this game, it's always going to be really good. And it looks like ArmyCore is actually going to the classical age incredibly quickly. 2 villages on gold at the start, with already with 9 villages on food. Hasn't started gathering wood yet, so he's not actually focusing on economy. He might be chucking down one of those at the moment now. But no, it looks like he's just going for more food, so he's going for a fast advance time. I don't think he's going to be able to put too much pressure on the ISIS players because it's ISIS. On the other side of the field, however, Hells has got his 2 villages on wood, so he's going to get his pickaxe out really, well, not really quick, but relatively quick. And we can see that he's been a little bit inefficient with his gatherers there. Actually putting a house in the way of that deer, not going to be able to gather that one at all. So there's the 2 things which is really separating the score at the moment. You can see ArmyCore is just a little bit ahead of Hells at the moment in terms of economy because he's been able to gather a little bit more. But Hells will catch up when he gets that early pickaxe, and stuff will be good there for him. ArmyCore doesn't quite have his temple going up yet. He's decided to get 2 monuments instead. It's a really nice start and I really like it. It depends on if he's going for 5 monuments or not, which is definitely a possibility considering he's already got his second one up. And he's only got villages on food, and the gold is starting to come in now. And the next, actually no, he's chucking up his temple, so he might chuck up a 3rd monument before going to the classical age. But because this map is marsh and it's a little bit more fast paced than normal, he might want to just leave that be, get to the classical age a little bit earlier, and maybe chuck that monument up when he feels safe that he's not getting rushed by Hells with priests or something like that. Hells, on the other hand, probably has his pickaxe out by now. No, doesn't have it. Ken researches it, though, which would be really good for him. Looks like he wants to go to the classical age a little bit faster than he would if he had to buy that pickaxe. So he's going to click on Bast first and then grab that pickaxe later. Perhaps get Husbandry as well. But as you can see, grabbing that pickaxe early wouldn't have delayed his time anymore because his villager popped out with 50 food left in the bank. So a little bit of ordering issue there. But, you know, you can't do everything right. I'm interested to see if he gets husbandry as well, because as much as people like to, I don't know, they undervalue husbandry. What it does is it reduces the walking distance by 2. So it halves your walking distance. And what this does is it stops bumping into each villages for like 2 times as much. So you save at least, I don't know, 3 seconds each trip. At least just having husbandry because of the bumping that might potentially happen. So that's like amounts to 5 gold every 30 seconds, which is probably about as good as, I don't know, plow or something like that. So that's really, it's a nice thing to think about when you're starting to play and stuff like that. Looks like ArmyCore's got 5 villages on wood now. I actually missed what he's doing. He's going through Patar, so he wants to get his Shadoof out and chuck out the farms. He doesn't quite have the gold to get a town centre yet, but he does have 10 villages on gold. You can see the inefficiency here on this gold mine. What you need to do with these villages is to just click over this side, get the majority of them in this little gap that is actually wedged there, and it's only useful if you use it. But yeah, he's got the little gap wedged there. He's going to get his second town centre up. Hells, on the other hand, in the classical age, he's got 300 400 gold. Got the villagers still gathering on the food, so it looks like he just wants to go for a standard fast heroic. Probably chuck a Migdol in the middle of the map, grab those 2 town centres which are centred, get map control and see if he can win the game like that. ArmyCore, on the other hand, he's got Shadoof, he's got 2 monuments really early. He's probably going to do some sort of Scarab Rush with that, just because I don't see going through Hathor's a very smart choice on this map. He needs to be able to get his map control, needs to be able to take out the forward Migdol, which Hells is potentially going to get, and he really needs to push through that. And we'll see what happens, especially with Bone Bow and all that other good stuff which comes with segment. I really believe that that's going to be the right way to play this. And you can see that ArmyCore is really powering on the gold at the moment. He doesn't yet have. Does he have his Shadoof yet? He does have Shadoof. He's got plow and husbandry coming through. He could research that from 2 different spots, but I don't think he really minds because he's not going to get his farming into action that quickly. Actually, it probably will make a difference considering he's already got a couple of villages farming. So you've got to be a bit careful like that when you're starting to research things. If you've got 2 of the same building, you can research them in different spots. And we're going to see ArmyCore be able to reign and really get some economy going from that. Hells, on the other hand, going through Nefti, he's going to hit that at about the 8-minute mark. He's going to be able to chuck down that prosperity as well. We're going to see if rain's up early enough to block that prosperity. It's not quite there. Rain goes a couple of seconds later than that. ArmyCore must be kicking himself a little bit for that. If he could get that efficiency a little bit better in his build, then he probably would have been able to set Hells back a little bit. Just because Hells would need to build that. Hells would need to build. What was I saying? I just had a mind blank. The Hells would have to build that Migdol right on the time when he could start using Prosperity, because he'd be in the Heroic Age. So he wouldn't be able to use Prosperity till at least 30 seconds after he's in the Heroic Age, and that's going to slow down production, that's going to slow down stuff, but he's going to get more gold because he's going to have more villages on the gold, because he'll have the extra 30 seconds of villager production time. So it's a little bit of a trade-off in terms of that. It's ordering, so it really is kind of more important to get the gold out first. We see Nepthys up there. Villagers are moving forward up to this location, it looks like, so he can secure that with the town centre right next to the settlement there, right next to the trees, the forest. So he's going to have a little bit of a gap to push units out in a choke point if ArmyCore is doing the segment strategy that I discussed. Doesn't yet have the gold needed to get to the next stage. Might want to consider getting. Oh, he's got shaft mine, so there's not really much you can do with his resources at the moment. He's going to chuck him a barracks just in case, but I don't think he's going to need that. Probably a waste in terms of gold right there, I think, because he's not going to be able to get to that next stage as quickly as he wants to. He's only going to be there at like the 9-minute mark, and that's 75 gold he's sending there, which is still getting used on something. He spent a little bit more gold on something there, but as I say, I think it might be a little bit of a risk there for him building that barracks, slowing his advance time down a little bit. And we'll see if he starts to use that immediately with Spearman, or if he holds off. Because if he does hold off on this, then we can see that he has he starts to build them pretty instantly, so I didn't really want that up for the Spearman to stop any, I guess, siege rushes. But we can see that Hells is doing really well. He's grabbing the town centre in the middle of the map. He's just a little bit behind on economy at the moment, but other than that, he's doing incredibly strongly. ArmyCore's got his Pharaoh and his Priest in the middle here, so it looks like he might want to be doing some sort of shifting attack or something like that. He is picking up this relic with the Odin Spear, so that looks like why. That's probably why he decided to build that barracks, because you found the Odin Spear, which does give you plus 5% damage for Spearmen, which means they're going to be doing about 0.3 hack damage more from that relic. So it's not the biggest, but over an amount of Spearmen, it's still really good. And we do see that Hathor is the heroic age god for ArmyCore, so he's going to be doing probably I can't really say, but probably a crocodile spam, maybe with some rocks, and that's going to allow him to deal with the Ancestors Eclipse push that Hells is potentially going to do. We don't see a Siege Workshop up. Yes, we do. There's a Siege Workshop for Hells. Hells has got quite the economy going with 17 villages on food. As I say, this was Marsh, so he's got all of this hunt with the map control that he could potentially be using, but he's deciding not to do that just because of the fear of the Locust. He is going to be gathering right next to the town centre instead. I'm interested to see what he's spending all this food on, because with 18 villages on food, you're going to have a lot of food income, and it looks like he's going to be starting to build some elephants out, some of those war elephants, just to tank some of the damage. But little does he know, I don't think Hells has spotted the barracks just yet, so he doesn't know that the Spearmen are a response from ArmyCore. ArmyCore are going to be building a bunch of those chariots and crocodiles. That's the Pursuchos, and the rock is already out because it's free. In the Titans you do get free units and stuff. You see the Shifting Sands did get used. They're going to be able to pick off a bunch of those chariots right there, and looks like he's going to keep them in there with a nice armory block there. The building placement of ArmyCore incredibly good, and you can see that Shifting Sands does not need to be used purely on villages. If you get those early 3 villages, it's really good, but when you get units and army, especially that many, it's still really good. It sets your opponent back in probably an equivalent amount of resources, to be honest, as the Shifting Sands, if you get enough and you get the correct ones. Hells is just doing a little bit of micro. They're trying to get that special off onto some of those Spearmen, but it looks like he's going to lose that Spearman if he's not too careful with it. And a couple of siege towers now coming into the fray here, picking off that watchtower and a house, and he's probably going to have to move them back because those Spearmen are coming in there. They're really, really strong at picking off towers. I believe they have a 100% damage bonus versus siege units, so that's actually doing 14 damage per hit, which is actually pretty huge considering they only have 5% hack armor. So he's just going to retreat them out. It looks like ArmyCore's managed to surround that siege tower as best as he can, but the chariot's going to be tearing through those spearmen as quick as possible. None of those siege towers dying, but taking significant damage, so he just needs to pick them off when he's ready. The Priests of Hells taking out this Wadget, not really microing them anymore, needs to put them onto the Pursuchos to deal some damage to those, because that's what they do best. ArmyCore coming in from the side as well. Looks like Hells is not quite ready to use his Ancestors Eclipse, wants to pick off a couple of those Priests probably first, and then continue to push him with this. Does have the 5 siege towers, so this Ancestors Eclipse could be incredibly potent, because he's going to be able to push in here and push into the town center. He doesn't know how much gold that ArmyCore's sitting on. It's actually sitting on 400 and 500 gold now, so, and full population. So using the Ancestors Eclipse siege tower push right now is going to result in a bunch of mercenary coming out just to deal with those siege towers, and it's going to be really, really hard for him to push in and win the game here. What ArmyCore really needs to do here is try and secure this location here. There is a Sphinx of Hells there preventing any sort of push in from ArmyCore. Hells needs to, however, probably use his Ancestors Eclipse to push in on this location and grab that 3rd town center, get that population up, because he doesn't understand quite how strong ArmyCore's army is right now. He's got a bunch of War Elephant though, so really it's the Pursuchos damage versus the War Elephant tankiness and the back line of Hells' army there. You can see that ArmyCore is now looking for a place to actually use Locust. She's going to find over here at this gold mine. He does see the mining camp now, so he's going to move over there. Really lucky find there. That Locust is going to be extremely potent, picking off a bunch of units there. At least they're extremely low HP, and it looks like he's going to be picking off those low HP villages first, and he's going to first lose some of those, and he's still losing more villages. So that was massive right there for ArmyCore. ArmyCore extremely lucky with that Locust. I don't know if it's lucky or if it's skill, but extremely lucky with finding that mining camp. He didn't know there was a large gold mine there, and he only just skimmed the scout there. So unfortunate for him. Unfortunate for Hells, fortunate for him. It looks like ArmyCore picking off that priest there. And now is when the Ancestors Eclipse is going to come into play. He's going to be able to pick off these chariots. But we do see that there is a little bit of retreat ground here. Actually, it looks like ArmyCore can just push in here and prevent... Hells can push in here and prevent ArmyCore from delaying this quite that much longer. But it looks like the chariot archers of ArmyCore are getting... just picking off the villagers, picking off the Pharaoh first. And Ancestors Eclipse does go down onto the Crocodile line, which is not the smartest, but it looks like ArmyCore is just going to retreat out of there, say, okay, you have that town center for now. I'm gonna push in later. I'm gonna let you waste that. And then I'm gonna use Osiris to push back in. I think Osiris was originally there for the minions, however, and ArmyCore sitting on only 15 favor, not going to be able to produce that many mummies. But do remember that the bulk of Hell's army is war elephants here, and mummies are so good against this sort of army because you can just micro them to pick off one war elephant, run it away. When it gets a special backup, pick off the next one, micro your chariot archers onto their chariot archers, and then just deal with the army like that. It's incredibly difficult for an ISIS player to deal with that without his own mummies or without Son of Osiris. And especially with the Son of Osiris that ArmyCore is going to have, he's going to have a really, really strong army there to push out and grab that town center. And coupling with that, he's going to have catapults, which you can actually chuck into his rock and do catapult raids on these town centers, which is really, really difficult to deal with. If you've never seen catapult raids, I implore you to never endeavor to find out what they are. It's not fun. It's not fun at all to deal with those. And this mummy is going to be the man of the hour right here. It's not really, I guess you can say it's a man, but can't really tell. Like, a mummy doesn't actually look like that, if you didn't know. That's sort of just like a misrepresentation of what Egypt did back in the day. We see ArmyCore putting a really aggressive Migdol here, really looking at taking this town center down. And I'm not quite sure if a catapult can make it over this location here. Looks like the rock's going to start taking a little bit of damage here. The siege tower is coming right onto the town center here. Hells has about 500 gold to play with here if he chooses to build some mercenary. He doesn't really need to. He can just take out those rocks, take out those siege towers one by one with villagers, and then repair the town center with that empowered Pharaoh. It's really difficult to push in like that. We can see ArmyCore microing that mummy really well, picking off one war elephant there. A mercenary now coming out here just to push ArmyCore back, but if this Migdol stronghold gets up, it's going to be very difficult for Hells to hold on here because that Migdol is going to do a lot more damage than the fortified town center is doing. The village is repairing that town center as best as he can. More mercenary coming out there. Going to be picking off these Pashustos as best as he can. Pashustos, though, doing a ton of damage. The mummy's still doing really, really well, but the priest not focusing on the mummy, instead focusing those Pashustos. Not the best idea because every time that mummy gets off a special attack, that's one dead unit for free. Pretty much, but it looks like that mummy's going to be picked off right now, not doing too much more damage. But the story is this Son of Osiris doing a ton of damage there. The micro there, chucking that into the Migdol and then pulling them back out. But the chariots are still focused firing with that siege tower as well. Looks like a bunch of these units from Hells is dying. However, he doesn't have any siege coming in. Doesn't have any siege on auto queue. Hells is going to be feeling the pain right here in terms of the population. But ArmyCore sitting on only 90 population with no gold remaining. He's actually got a bunch of gold mines though. The villagers are sitting idle here. It looks like he's not paying attention to those. He's too focused on the fight. If he loses this location, then this location is in jeopardy as well because it's in the direct line, and that's where ArmyCore needs to go to get that gold. ArmyCore is just not producing any units. He probably doesn't even know that he's got no gold at the moment because he's got these chariots on auto queue. He's not focusing on making those anymore. So he's actually going to probably lose this game. If he can't hold on to that Migdol, he's not going to have any gold. And you know, if you don't have any gold, you don't have anything. And there we go. Son of Osiris getting killed. That's the strong point of ArmyCore's army, and ArmyCore decides to tap out. Wow. GG. Hell's pulling it together there. I really feel like ArmyCore had that game, but he just blew it without transferring those villagers onto the gold mine. That's just a mistake there. Unfortunately for ArmyCore, I feel like he could have pushed in here, grabbed this town center, and then it would have been Hells is the one who has to answer to the pressure of ArmyCore. Wow. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this game. We've got another couple coming up, so please stay tuned for those ones as well, and I'll see you guys next time.